and hoping to carry that on through to 2024 and 600 games tomorrow. That's a lot of League of Legends.
It's a lot of League of Legends.
It's like almost 2 years if he played a
One game a day.
Yeah.
That's that's actually absurd when you think about it. Well, he'll take to the stage once again. Only the second time he's had to do this walk down the tunnel. The crowd surrounding him, alongside him, obviously, Wonder, Perks, Flackett, and Kaiser on the other side of the rift. We have Rogue, Shigenda lining up in the top lane, and then Marcoon, who has joined them this year, Larson, Comp, and Zoelis, a player who has been very explosive in the ERLs, and I expect to see a lot from. Known for his ability to find something from nothing as a support, which is always something you want on a team that perhaps is a little bit more, a little bit on the slower side. You want someone that can bring the game to life.
Yeah, and you know what? I really feel like Marcoon, you know, coming into this split would be the kind of player in my mind that'll do that. I feel like he's very, very vocal, and he grew on his time in SK, and it was quite clear that he was a very strong leader, seemingly. And I hope, as I always do with Rogue, that it does mean slightly faster game pace. Yeah. I will complain about it a lot, but that is just kind of me with Rogue.
I think we're all, like, you and I are in the same camp, where I find League of Legends more exciting when stuff is happening. Yeah. However, playing slowly is not inherently wrong. Yeah. And that is an important caveat for us to put out. Yes. Rogue, when they play slowly, they can play really well. They can suffocate the enemy team. The problem is, sometimes it feels like they don't have the extra arrow in their quiver. When they fall behind, they can't find the tempo. They can't find their own plays in those moments. Instead, they are marching to the beat of their opponent's drums. Rogue on the blue side, though, 0-1. Heretics 0-1 as well after being beaten by MDK. Milio and Rumble, the first two bans, alongside Caitlyn from Heretics.
Still have the Kalista, the Felios. Caitlyn's off the board already. Quite a few AD carry options. We'll see how many of those are stripped away. The LeBlanc is taken out of the hands of Larson, so we won't be seeing that one for the final game of the day. What will Rogue ban away? What are they looking towards? That trio ADCs still up and available. Do they want to trim away one, look for a trade? Are there eyes elsewhere? Jax still available, Xin Zao as well. Very, very high priority amongst our team so far this weekend.
We'll see where they decide to go. I have just noticed a little bit of an interesting fact. Yesterday, obviously, red side very favored. 4 wins out of 5 games that we had yesterday. Today, it's 50-50 split so far. BDS and SK1 on red, G2 and Fnatic have won on the blue. So this game's the decider. Will it be another red win, or will we see blue take the lead for day 2? Renata and LeBlanc banned away. There's the Rumble and the Gragas. Azir, the first lock for Larson. We just saw how good it is in the hands of Humanoid Larson and Azir aficionado himself. Unsurprising that Rogue decided to prioritize it early on.
Yep, solid, consistent. You know what you're getting with Azir. It's kind of on the tin. So let's see where Team Heretics look to respond. Will they immediately go towards a mid lane themselves? Will they get a bot lane pairing? Lucio Milio up and available. Nami as well, of course. Xin Zao. Everything's on the table, really. It feels like a really, really open draft. And Xin Zao will fall into the hands of Jankos, so looking for a little bit of early proactivity, hopefully. And again, those ADs up and available. It does make me wonder where Marcoon's going to look towards now. Oh, Nocturne's up, actually. Yeah, Nocturne's not been banned away.
Feels pretty powerful. Obviously, Nocturne Orianna, the tried and true combination. I'm also looking to Heretics as one of the teams that might crack out the double support item bot lane. They have a center player. Flackett is a good center player. Kaiser obviously can play things like Tahm Kench, Cho'Gath if you want. You can also go Cho Ashe in that lane if you really want to, instead of taking the center. So there's the possibility of that. Varus locked in, though, kind of puts that on the back burner, and it's going to be Kalista here alongside Rell. Rell obviously still a flex, but expectations tend to be that that's going to go to the support role.
Yep, tend to be, but I imagine Rogue... I would kind of like to see this in the jungle a little bit more when you've got Kalista, because now, well, now Kaiser's got counterpick, if this was theoretically Robot. And you always kind of want to try and hold on as long as you can to support counterpick, in my opinion, when you do have that Kalista. We'll see. Heretics go towards that Akali for perks, so a lot of kill pressure once that level 6 ticks online, but before then, Larson should have a lot of control around the mid lane, and it could open up for Marcoon to have a little bit more pressure down towards that bottom side, towards that Kalista, if so be the plan.
See how the Akali deals with Azir. Is a matchup we see relatively commonly, often the Orianna also an answer. Instead, Perks deciding he wants something with a little bit more agency. Gwen going to be banned away for the top lane. Shigenda's not going to get his hands on that. Wonder where Rogue will go with their bans. As you said, could look to pinch the support pool a little bit here with Ashe, Varus, a relatively strong lane, even into something like Kalista Rell. If you can keep your distance from them, you can just harass them down and poke them out. Where will Rogue think the priority lies here for Team Heretics?
Should be. One of these bans should be Ashe at least. Oh, Heimerdinger.
Heimer does a very similar thing.
Very similar thing, right? So if Heim's the first ban, I would anticipate that the second ban is Ashe, and it's a little telegraph, but we never know what they're looking at. Heretics, will they trim away another carry from Jagenda? The answer will be yes, and it'll be the Jax. So no hyper carries that we tend to see out of the top lane pool. Cassante still up. See if Wonder wants to pick that one up on 4. And I feel like that's probably your safest bet. If you're Heretics, you want to try and hold on to this counter pick for as long as possible for Kai'Sa. I feel like you want to shut down that Kalista and keep her as low opportunity as possible in terms of having favorable support matchups.
Yeah, I very much agree with that. It looks like they're actually going to let Kai'Sa have the Ashe if he wants it. Didn't have a great performance on the Nami yesterday, so maybe they're saying, hey, Ashe is good in this lane, but we kind of don't mind if you take Ashe, Kai'Sa. They think perhaps they can catch him out, and you do have a lot of kill threat with a Rell and a Kalista in the bottom lane. So if that Ashe does burn her flash early on, you can just lock her down relatively consistently. There's the Cassante you were talking about. Good prediction there. Jamada and Shigenda going back to tried and true. The Aatrox locked in for him. Rogue now will show their hand. Is the Rell jungle, or are we going to see it support with a different jungler?
Let's see. So like we said, one of those kind of supports that can feel like, in a way, draw blood from a stone. Nothing could be going on in the game, and you'll make something happen. It's
we don't know.
So now we just plainly don't know.
Maokai could be support.
Realistically, it's probably Maokai jungle, but
probably.
we'll play Mad Scientist for a couple seconds longer.
I'm just saying, like with Celestial Opposition or Celestial Opposition, I think it's, yeah.
I don't know. The support items are your forte,
the support
brother.
crown item. Oh, goodness, I've forgotten the name. It's Celestial Opposition, I was right.
Okay.
Or Bloodsong, or even Solstice Slay. Maokai is actually really strong. The Bard and answer into it. Kai'Sa did play a lot of Bard back in 2020, I want to say, or at least was known for it when he joined the league. Or even before he was joining the league. But it's not something we've seen from him too commonly now. We did see Bard yesterday from DOS. Had an okay performance on it, did miss some of his Cosmic Bindings, but the Tempered Fate does give you a lot of pressure if you can land a 2 or 3 man before a team fight begins.
Yeah, this Bard is definitely a pretty big pivot, but I suppose they were maybe kind of concerned about the flexibility of the jungle support, so looking for something perhaps that Kai'Sa just felt comfortable on in this situation in both matchups, but I feel like for Team Heretics, now it does kind of set them up to have a very strong skirmishing composition once they hit level 6, and for Rogue, a lot of stability, I feel like, throughout the solo lanes particularly, and then the bottom lane with this Kalista, the Rell, the Maokai, a lot of setup, a lot of burst damage. It's something that, on the opposite side, Jankos is going to have to keep his eyes on that volatility of the bottom lane and ensuring that they can stay safe, farm up, and then also unlock Kai'Sa from time to time to see if they can roam around and find plays.